Hello, how's it going, friends? I'm Darkoburi, the collector. Welcome to this mega special video I've prepared for you about Tanjiro Kamado. But it's not just for you to see all the Tanjiro Kamado figures, it's so you can identify all the paint, texture, and quality of all the brands that exist at the moment that are actually accessible to the public and decide which of them convinces you most. It's time to put them out and face them off one by one so that it's finally your favorite, and we'll see which one takes and steals your heart. So let's check it out. And now, to start this mega figure festival, I brought you two Banpresto figures on this side. Just identify that over here on this side are the Maximatic ones. This is the traditional Banpresto figure, the very well-known and recognized Popup Parade. But now comes the clash of titans, the Figuart Zero, which are epic moments from the anime captured in a figure. Here's one I haven't shown you yet, which are from Aniplex. And on this side, something I haven't taken out in a while, I think since Attack on Titan, Figma figures. We're going to carefully take out each and every one at a time, so you can really see the difference. On this side, we have the static figures. These ones do not move at all, they're completely still. And over here, we have some figures that actually do have movement, plus they come with other mega special items as well. So, we're going to start from this side and we'll be doing a review of the box, the figure itself, and talk about what makes each one unique, so that you can see them and analyze them one by one and keep your favorite. Alright, now we begin our discussion with Banpresto. Let's get to it. And now, as I mentioned, we'll start with the Banpresto ones, which to me seem like very special figures. Easy to get, easy to put there on your shelves, and honestly they are very epic figures. Almost all of them always come with their base, and obviously they're put on your figure. The ones that are quite short figures just come with something to put them on the foot. And some others we've seen from Dragon Ball, we've done many unboxings here, which you can check on my channel. They even have, for example, where they're placed at the height of the glute, the leg, or the arms, or the back. But now, in a quick review of the box so that later they don't pull a fast one on you, we're always going to have the name of the company on the front part. Here on the top part of the box we'll find the Banpresto, and on the bottom part the Bandai. Here we just have to see, here we see that it says, what it says here, Vibration Stars, but on this other side you'll run into the Maximatic. Each one explains what's going on. These figures here are larger in size and feature more detail compared to the traditional and standard ones. Up here on the top part, we have the Kimetsu no Yaiba logo. We're going to find it on all sides of our Maximatic figure. And on the back of the box, we're going to see that it says Bandai Spirits on both boxes. And obviously the age recommendations, which say it's for ages 15 and up. Down here on the bottom is where you'll find all the fine print. And now, without further ado, let me take out both Banpresto figures to see the detail, compare the sizes, the textures, and the colors of both Kamado Tanjiros here on the Darkoburi channel. And now, here we have the presentation of our two Banpresto pieces. Remember that this one is the Maximatic and this is the standard Banpresto. Check out that in size, well in proportion. This Kamado Tanjiro is a little bit bigger than that one, but the standard Banpresto figure is still taller. Why? Because like I said, with the base they come with, they sometimes have this part that helps or holds the figure up. Here it creates the effect that Kamado Tanjiro is jumping to perform his attack. So in proportion, if we check them against each other, notice that this one is a little bit taller. The base gives it the advantage, but this one only has this part here as a base. I like the bottom base better here because your figure is more stable. With this piece, if we actually remove this base that I just struggled quite a bit to put on, if you leave your figure alone, what's going to happen? The figure will indeed fall over, so it's quite essential and useful that you use the base and simply find which of the 2 feet it goes on. But look, it still has this little wobble, and why don't I like it? Because if something suddenly falls on it, even unintentionally, just by mistake, it's obviously going to hit it and this figure will definitely go flying. So regarding the base, I like this Banpresto one a little bit more. Now, as for the detailing, check out the face on this figure compared to this other one. Here we see that it's the same character, he hasn't aged, nothing has changed, but the face looks more detailed on this one, the Maximatic. Here on the standard Banpresto, it literally looks a bit more cartoonish, but here you can see the perfect outlining. The detail I didn't like is on the standard Banpresto figure. It's the part in black where the hairline begins. It's something where the paint error is very noticeable. And we had already noticed that when the bootlegs were coming out. On the bootlegs, this error is even more pronounced. Regarding the hair, notice that it's a little bit, let's say, redder, as if it were a more cherry-like tone. And here it's like a slightly reddish tone, but leaning a bit more towards brown. This whole effect is created why? Because in the lower parts it already has a bit more black. But it's done, well, this one seems a bit more red to me, more accurate to the character Tanjiro. And this one they made it a bit, well, more chestnut, more brown. Not so much in line with the character. Regarding the cloak, here we see that the green on the normal Banpresto is also a bit more vivid, versus this Banpresto Maximatic, which is a bit more, well, faded. Here regarding the garment, I like the normal Banpresto a bit more. The color looks more vivid, it looks brighter. But if we move on to the sword effects, let's check out the sword on the normal Banpresto here, which is the replica we already unboxed here on the Darkoburi channel. It's completely black, but here the effect of this sword looks quite well defined. For the sword, I like the Maximatic better. And finally, regarding the pants part, it's just a brown color. Both seem quite similar to me. But the detailing on the leg part is more detailed here on the Maximatic. All the bandages, the grip the bandages have, and even the footwear is more detailed. Here it's simple, plain, normal, like the Banpresto piece. So regarding the footwear, I'm also going with Maximatic. I'll let you compare the two pieces in a close-up and tell me for now which of the two you liked better. Now, let's get into the details. Now let's go with one of the pieces I like unboxing the most, which are the Figuart Zero. I also have a video of Gilgamesh over there from Figuart Zero, which is honestly impressive, and we've already presented other figures here from Demon Slayer 2. Now it's the turn for Kamado Tanjiro's total concentration breathing technique. And what you obviously need to know about your box is where it is. Here on this side at the top is where it's located. Here, Figuart Zero. There's always a hologram that, if it's not quite visible, it says it's Tamashii Nations quality. Tamashii Nations is like the biggest expo for anime figures, and when they have this quality, it's really top tier. Here we also have the Tamashii Nations and Bandai logos. On this side, we just have a preview of the figure, but on the back, it tells us that this one complements another figure, which is obviously going to be Nezuko from Figuart Zero. And here we just have the name of the piece. Up here, it's the same, just the name. And down here is another preview. Now let's go ahead and do the unboxing of this piece. I'll show you the details and a comparison with these two Banpresto pieces. So let's get to it. And here we go. Here's our Kamado Tanjiro from Figuart Zero. Remember, this is a standard Banpresto because today we're going to reference these two figures, the Banpresto Maximatic and the Figuart Zero. What these Figuart Zero pieces have is that the base is part of the figure's own setting. Check out how the entire base corresponds to the attack, to this total concentration technique where he launches his fire attack. And here we'll analyze, it's obviously the same character, but in my opinion, the hair looks more like it does in the anime. On this one, it didn't look right, it looked more brown. And over here, because of the detail near the scalp, I didn't like it. So you can see it's a very dark black, and then it turns into that Kamado Tanjiro reddish color. Similarly, the scar and all the facial effects seem more in line with the character we've seen in the animation. What I didn't like is the outline of the lips, since his teeth are clenched. It looks like he's wearing lipstick on his lips, which doesn't match what we have on these two sides. That's the only little detail, being very strict about it. And likewise, let's take a close-up of the sword, both the front and the back of the sword. I still like the Maximatic one better. Honestly, the replica is well made, but in terms of coloring and detail, I prefer the Maximatic. What's with this sword? The part here on the hilt just gets lost. Other than that, the colors on this one are more vivid. Check out the parts we have here on these two figures. I like the clothes better because they look very, very colorful. And the hands, well, I have another issue here. This hand looks whiter and this one looks more yellow. There was definitely a color change in this figure. Something we don't see here. It keeps the same color on both hands. And here it keeps the same color on both hands. Look closely here, it looks a bit lighter, and here a bit more, well, a little bit more yellow on this part of the hands. On these two figures, the back part where the hunter's symbol is, it doesn't show here, but on this Figuart Zero figure, it does. You can read the white part here, which is this symbol, so that's also a plus. The plus that all three figures have is that they also keep this. The sword always goes below the belt, so all three figures have that too. Here, the scabbard where the sword is kept is held under the belt that Tanjiro Kamado wears, and the pants are just brown, normal on all of them. Here's the bandage. It looks like they didn't put much effort into the bandage here. It looks a lot like the Banpresto one, and the footwear is the same as Banpresto's. What's the deal? I still like the footwear better because it's more detailed here on the Maximatic. And now, what really shows the quality and purity of Figuart Zero is all the detail on the base with the fire. Check it out. It even has some dark outlining to give shape to these flames from the attack starting here, from Tanjiro Kamado's sword, which follows him on this walk. Now, without further ado, let's look at the details of these so you can tell me which of the three you've liked most so far here on the Darkoburi channel. Now, let's go with another piece that has become a channel favorite, the Popup Parade. Here, I'm obviously going to save the best for last. But the Popup Parade is still a quality quite similar to the Banpresto ones, but let's compare the color and every single detail of the piece. Now, we have three references from Figuarts to Banpresto and Banpresto Maximatic. So here we have our Popup Parade piece. The name of the figure or the character's name is always right here. Down here is the name of the anime and that it's from Popup Parade. You also see Good Smile Company here, and if there's another adaptation like Aniplex, they'll include it too. Looking right here at the box. These boxes are always transparent and let you see the entire figure, so you don't need any kind of spoiler on the back. The spoiler is already right here. It just says Popup Parade, Good Smile Company, and all the safety recommendations. We already know there's nothing on the side. So let's get to what you're interested in, doing the unboxing and showing you the comparison with these other pieces here on the Darkoburi channel. And now let's welcome the fourth figure, which is the Popup Parade one. And here it is. What I do like about these pieces is the base, which comes in this more or less translucent color. And for Kamado Tanjiro, he was given this green color that fits his outfit perfectly. But what I'm not liking from the start is that he's very, very pale. Checking it against the other pieces, we see this one has a slightly whiter color, so he's paler than all the rest. It's like this error on the hand of the Figuart Zero. That's roughly the skin tone of our Kamado Tanjiro piece here. The other thing that surprised me is the base. On the left foot there are two parts, two little holes to insert, and on the right foot there's one. But they included this part, this additional base, as if it were the Maximatic, but the truth is the piece is quite stable, it doesn't fall over, and honestly look, it hardly wobbles at all. The piece is actually quite solid, but our friends at Popup Parade decided to include this part, which I'm honestly not going to use. It takes away a bit of the shine from your piece. I really feel it's an unnecessary and extra attachment that our friends at Popup Parade added. But anyway, overall we see a reddish color here that's less intense than the other pieces, and it's very similar to the Maximatic. The red color, and here it has a little tuft that the others don't show quite like this. Here on the back of the hair, you can also see the tone gradually turning into black. And as for the front, I didn't like the expression they gave his face either. So far, this one, which is the action, the battle part, is the face I've liked the most. But here in the Popup Parade, they make our friend Kamado Tanjiro look quite scared, with his eyes wide open. It's not expressive at all, not violent like in these two poses, and it doesn't look serious like this one either. He looks a bit frightened here, and he has his usual mark. The earrings are completely normal. I've seen that the pieces have been consistent with the earrings. I'm telling you that the detail on the sword under the belt also remains very, very similar. And here too, there's nothing to complain about regarding the color of the clothing. It's still the green squares with the black squares. It has this effect as if it were wrinkled due to the position Kamado Tanjiro is currently in. And additionally, this is what I like the most. The color of the pants, as they presented it with the shadows, has the best definition of all the previous pieces. Here you can actually see the pants quite well, and I think they look pretty good. Moving on to the feet, it becomes a figure just like the Banpresto one and doesn't offer anything more. The one I still like best for the footwear is the Maximatic. So I'll let you take a look at Popup Parade. Sorry, I missed looking at the detail on the sword. The sword, again, I still like it better here as presented by Maximatic. Here it's quite basic, quite simple, just like here in Figuart Zero and in the regular Banpresto. I'm gonna show it so you can see it, start comparing, and in each of the parts where we cut to talk about the next figure, tell me which one you've been liking so far. Here, Pop-Up seems to be falling behind, and I'm torn between Maximatic and Figuart Zero. Tell me what you think. And now, let's welcome the Figma piece here, because honestly, Figma pieces are quite well unique, very successful, and they're a lot like the SH Figuarts, which are very sought after pieces. The Figma we have here is the special edition, the DX, the deluxe version of Tanjiro Kamado. So on the front side, what are we gonna have besides the spoiler of our piece? It says here it's the Max Factory Figma and the special edition. On the back, it shows you some suggestions for how you can pose your figure. Remember, these are articulated pieces, including the wrists here, the elbows, the shoulders, and obviously the legs and the feet. The cool thing here is that you can take them apart. Why? Because this is the outer part of our box, and here's the traditional box that Figma figures come in. Remember, they all have their piece number. Honestly, I haven't figured out how they do the numbering, and I have quite a few Figma pieces. But I still can't tell if some pieces follow the numbering, then they suddenly change and release others but keep going with the numbering. So here I'm showing you the Figma part and everything else I mentioned about Max Factory. Now we're actually going to do the unboxing of this mega piece. I'm not going to take out all the accessories, I'm just going to focus on Tanjiro Kamado and also, as an extra detail, our tiny little Nezuko. So let's take it out, let's compare it with the other Tanjiro Kamado pieces, and you can decide which one you're going to invest your hard-earned money in. And now, here we have our Figma piece of Tanjiro Kamado, and check it out, he can stand on his own, but our friends at Figma include quite a few elements. We just saw that it came with face changes. Here, check out that they include hand changes. This one is loose and it seems they missed a little hand on this side. It's not that it came like this, but that's how it was. There are simply 7 little hands for you to put on. The bag comes completely sealed. Here is what fits into Tanjiro Kamado's sword. And in case you want to give some effect here to the weapon, to the sword, the other great thing about Figma is that the base always has his name. And they include extras in case you break this hand joint. That's where the pressure is usually highest because it's such a small piece that you often break it. Additionally, for your spare pieces, they include this bag, let's say Ziploc style, and you can store your figure in a very proper way. The other thing that came was the swords, and I only took out the sword so you can see it. It's here, it's a replica of Tanjiro Kamado's sword. The details are quite good, but I still like the sword on this side a little bit more. Check out that the hand here, where the hand goes, the hilt comes in a more grayish color, and in everything else it stays black. they missed the color here, they didn't know how to copy it well, and this tiny sword comes so you can put the powers on it. And in the same way, it comes in a gray color, so that's a big fail for our friends at Figma because it should have been a blacker color. As we've seen in the hilts of all the other pieces, here's our Tanjiro Kamado, check out the hair. It's made so that for the face change, that's why it has this effect here. You remove the, let's say, the bangs part, do the face change, and then you can continue with your figure. But check out here that the color also comes a little less red, more opaque. I still like this color better on this side from the Figuart Zero, and the color of the hands also remains a little paler. The face also looks a bit more childish, although it's quite youthful, smiling and all, but that's what the face changes are for, so you can do any of the poses, which is good for Figma. The colors here inside the suit also seem quite spectacular to me. What I didn't like is that it comes with this sleeve that really sticks out quite a bit, and it's made of a rigid plastic. You move the hand, you move the whole arm, and this part stays put. Check out that in the others, even though it does have this here, it doesn't look as bad as it does here. The suit just goes through here and it simply gets quite large. It should have been a bit more uniform. But why do they do it? So you can articulate the elbow and the effect only happens on the sleeve part. Other than that, here is the little hole I mentioned for putting it on the base. And the articulation is such that you can bend the knees, even the tip of the foot. Quite practical when you want to do an attack pose for Tanjiro Kamado. And here it is actually quite well defined, even what would be the ankle guards and the footwear. So okay, I like the ankle guard on our Figma piece a bit more now. What I still do not like is the full articulation they give it in the abdomen, to be able to turn it like this. And the other thing that is good is the sword under the belt as well. So here I will leave you to take a look at Tanjiro Kamado. And as a special addition, this Nezuko comes along. It does not move, it is not articulated, it is just, so to speak, on its knees in its tiny version. Also quite unique. The pinkish eye is pretty good, and everything else is pretty cool, let us say, as an additional piece. But yeah, they really overdid it with the size, because compared to the Figma piece itself, it should have been roughly around the waist height of Tanjiro Kamado. What do you think of this mini Nezuko? Leave it in the comments. For me, the size is indeed very small. And also what I really liked is that it includes the water breathing attack, or here the fire dance, which you can swap out with your character. Let us see the close-up so you can tell me which figure you have liked best so far. And we are going to review the last piece we are missing from Aniplex here on the Darkoburi channel. Now we present as a new piece that we had not done an unboxing for here on our Darkoburi channel. This Aniplex figure, let us say it is from Buzzmod Aniplex, and this is the Tanjiro Kamado version. Here, so you can start analyzing and see which one you really want. Taking a look at the spoiler we have for our piece, the cloak comes in fabric. We have face swaps, which honestly makes things a lot easier, because the original face we see here is the smiling child face of Tanjiro Kamado, and honestly I don't like it at all. And here we have the addition I mentioned, which is the Buzz mod. 1/12 is the scale of our piece. And back here, we have the spoilers on how we can assemble our piece. Other than that, we just have Buzz mod, and here, Kimetsu no Yaiba, also known as Demon Slayer. Same thing here on this side. So now that we've seen the box, let's show you the figure. The last one in this mega comparison video of Tanjiro Kamado, so you can decide which one to get right here on the Darkoburi channel. And now, here we finally have the last Tanjiro Kamado. Honestly, this comparison video has been spectacular, and I took out the most significant items from the box. We already know it comes with interchangeable hands to hold the sword, or to strike this pose, or any other. And we're going to show you Tanjiro Kamado's flexibility here. The other figure, the Figma one, had the articulation here at knee level. Check this out, it's more spectacular because it includes full articulation throughout the foot. Check out how it moves, and here Tanjiro Kamado included a pair of extra legs, in case you wanted to put him on his knees like this, praying or eating. But honestly, this flexibility is quite epic. Also here on the arm part, we have the elbow part and the hand part. Right now, I left him like this, as if he were a zombie version of Tanjiro Kamado. Just like the what if of brains here if he wanted to eat. To continue the analysis, let's also look at the hair. Here it's like they didn't care and made it all very close to black. You can't distinguish the reddish part of Tanjiro Kamado from the darker part here in the back. The red color of Tanjiro Kamado is only visible at the roots. A point against this piece here for the hair color. The hands also look more yellow now. Let's just say it's the opposite of this Tanjiro Kamado here. Very pale and very yellow here. But this color seems more accurate to me. And what's also quite interesting is that it does have the logo here on the back. You know, it has the logo of the Demon Hunters. And now you just have to gauge it, right? Because check out how it also does a full 360-degree rotation. This helps a lot with the articulation. Why? Because it ensures you don't force the movement and your piece doesn't break. Also on the other leg, check out how it also does the 360-degree movement. The movement is stiffer here. And what happens with these pieces is that you can sometimes partially pull out the hip. That's the trick, you have to be careful. And the main element is that they left the opening here on the belt. What for? So that you can insert the weapon, in this case Tanjiro Kamado's sword, without any problem. This one also has articulation. Let's say here at the level of the foot, the toes, to be able to articulate it and keep the piece in a pose. And besides that, the sword. Check it out, this one does have the handle in black with the reddish part. And everything right here also comes in black. Here we saw it only had a gray part, which is what I didn't like. And it includes, as an additional accessory, the box where Tanjiro Kamado carries Nezuko. And lo and behold, they are more or less the same height, so I was wrong about that. It is more or less at the height where he keeps Nezuko. And we can see it, and it's roughly the height of the two pieces. So, good job Figma. Let's just say this representation of Nezuko was pretty cool. Here comes the piece I told you about from the jacket too. Here we see it being inserted. The element is also very accurate. Why? Because the whole sleeve is the one that is, well, wide. The one that's loose on Tanjiro Kamado's jacket. Whereas here, look at how compact it is. And then it widens out. So that's a detail on the Figma that I didn't like. But here it is very epic. And no matter how you pose the piece, it will always maintain the width of the sleeve throughout the piece. It doesn't mean that the piece is completely, well, even though it's made of fabric, it's not that you can maneuver it, but rather in one part here. It has something quite rigid. So if you do it like this, the effect is maintained. So be careful with your jacket. You could ruin it. And back here were two effects of the fire dance attack. Here to put it behind with the sword in that circular attack, or it came in a flare style. So I'll leave you with the last Aniplex piece here so you can see the close-up. And now with all the elements, you can decide which one you like best here on the Darkoburi channel. And now, having all the elements, you can decide which of all the Tanjiro Kamados you like best. Among the figures that are truly static, including Popup Parade over here, I'm leaning a bit more towards Figuart Zero, honestly. Because of the pose, obviously the whole display and the base make it the best. The only downside is the uneven hand color. If they'd made them match, it wouldn't have mattered. And between the two that are, well, mobile here, articulated, I'm going with the Figma. The outfit looks quite strange, specifically the jacket mounted on the Aniplex piece we have here, so I'm sticking with the Figma. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Honestly, all these pieces are worth collecting, but with this close-up, you can decide where to best spend your money. And since we're nearing the end of this super long video, I hope you've stayed until the end because there's a gift coming. For all of you who know this series, and for those who don't, let me introduce it. It's Black Clover, And I'm giving away this Uno piece, the one who becomes the commander of those super powerful eagles after the commander there was kidnapped and taken to Yggdrasil. Well, I won't give you too many spoilers. Watch it. I won't say anything else, but you can win right here. This Uno figure, if you tell me who were, well, each one of the commanders who were fighting on behalf of this kingdom. List them all. I'll give you a hint. Yami was the commander of the Black Bulls. So leave the names of all the commanders and obviously which squad they led, and you could win this Uno figure. And a friend from Kame House Laguna Official gave me this figure for all of you. It's a Demon Slayer Q-Pos kit. Just follow them on social media platforms and stay updated. On Facebook as Kame House Laguna Official, and send us a photo showing you follow them on Facebook. Remember, this one's via Facebook, this other one's via YouTube, plus the code from the Darkoburi website, and you can enter for both figures if you want. So leave a comment, the commanders from Black Clover to enter for Uno. Send a photo showing you follow our friend at Kame House Laguna Official to enter for this Q-Pos kit. And remember to follow us on all social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We're on every platform, but especially YouTube. So go ahead and follow every single one, hit that notification bell, and tell us whatever you want in the comments. If you liked the video, or if you didn't like any piece and you're like, you know what, Darkoburi, I'm not buying any of those Tanjiro Kamado figures, and that's totally fine. That's what unboxings are for, so you can decide whether to buy the piece or not, or which one of them you'll get. I'd always shown you all the Banpresto ones, and you'd always say, yeah, out of those Banpresto figures you showed, I like this one best. From Figuart Zero, I like this one more. Now you have all the pieces from different brands. Now you can really say which of all the brands you like the most. Leave a comment and also share it, like it, love it, whatever you want. And also check out the website, because besides having the code that you have to be able to join in these giveaways that we do every single Tuesday, more or less of every week, we also have figures, we have thermoses, mugs, keychains, endless collectibles. The Darkoburi book, where I teach you tips so that you can start, grow, or definitely complete your collection. So read it so you don't miss any detail of this mega geek world. And also, well, I'm signing off. This very long video, mega exciting, mega fun, so many pieces, so much fun, and we'll see you next Thursday at 11:30 in the morning. And Darkoburi, peace out. Darkoburi, and once again, Darkoburi.